Hi, this is Paul. I'm from English Umbrella, and today we're going to be going over adjective clauses, what they are, and why we use them. So an adjective clause is basically the same function as an adjective. That is to say, it describes a person, a place, or a thing. The only main difference between an adjective and an adjective clause is that an adjective clause is a group of words. One other thing is that we also use words like who, that, which, sometimes whom, okay, or a word like whose. Now, an adjective, just to kind of review, the man has a red car, okay. What is the adjective in this sentence? Yes, the adjective is red. Okay, so obviously the word red is describing car. Okay, and we just use one word. Okay, so that's an adjective. Okay, now if I have a sentence like the man who has a red car is standing over there. Okay, what is the adjective clause in this sentence? Yes, good. So the adjective clause is who has a red car. Okay. Now the main difference between this sentence and this sentence is that this one only uses one word, an adjective, to describe a noun. And this one uses a group of words with the word who to describe a noun, the man. Okay. Now, what is the main benefit of using adjective clauses? Well, as you move from a beginning writer in English to an intermediate or an advanced writer, you should be using more complex sentences that are longer and kind of more I don't know, stylistic. So let's practice together a little bit. So I have this sentence here. The student is from Ireland. The student is sitting in front of me. So how can we combine these two sentences? Oh, and by the way, if you would like, you can push pause and try to do it yourself and then check in. Okay, so let's see. So the best answer is to combine these two. We can say the student who is sitting in front of me is from Ireland. Good. Okay. And the adjective clause here is who is sitting in front of me. Okay. Now, the way that you write the sentence, you could say the student who is from Ireland is sitting in front of me. That would be okay also. It really depends on your main focus. If your main focus is on the fact that the person is from Ireland, then you would want to put that last. If your main focus is that the person is sitting in front of you, then that would go last. It just depends on your emphasis and your meaning. Okay? I hope you're with me so far. Okay? Now let's practice. Okay? So we have, here's one sentence here. If I say, I am in the library is located on Spring Street. How can we combine these two sentences? Okay, so go ahead and practice that. Okay, good job. Okay, so you can say, I am in the library, and you can say that is located on Spring Street. Okay, so the adjective clause here is that is located on Spring Street, and that is describing the word library. Okay, so that's how we say which library. Now, you could use the word which here. That would also be okay. Some people say that in formal English, which should only be used with a comma, but yeah, I disagree. I think you can use either which or that. Both are okay. 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 So I am in the library that is located on Spring Street. Okay. Let's do another practice. Okay. So let's see. How about this one? The parking attendant took my car. The parking attendant was rude. Okay. Go ahead and try to combine those sentences using an adjective clause. Okay, good. So we could say the parking attendant, let's see, who took my car was rude. Okay, good. And what is the adjective clause here? Yes, good job. So it's who took my car? Who took my car? Good. Okay. And one more practice. Okay, so another one we could say is the student got an A on the test. Okay. He was happy. Okay. How could we combine these two sentences? Good. So you can say the student who got an A on the test was happy. Good. Okay. And the adjective clause again is here. Who got an A on the test? Okay. Now you could, you could definitely say something like this: the student who was happy got an A on the test. But of the two, which one is best? What do you think? So of the two, the second one is a little bit strange, actually, because that sounds like, he was happy first, and then he got an A. But really, what we're trying to say is that he, first he got an A on the test, and then he was happy. So you do have to be careful how you combine sentences. Make sure that you have the same meaning. Okay, I hope you're with me so far. Okay. Now, there are a couple different types, actually 3 types of adjective clauses. One is, of course, a subject-relative clause. And I'm just going to take one of these sentences up here. Why don't we take this one? And, okay. So a subject-relative clause basically, you want to ask yourself, if you look at the beginning of the sentence, the subject of the sentence, the main subject, you want to ask yourself, is the parking attendant doing the action or receiving the action? Okay, so what do you think? In this case, the parking attendant who took my car was rude. And yes, good. So in this case, the parking attendant is doing the action. Okay, so this is subject relative. Okay. And that's important to remember. So the subject relative clause, the main part of the sentence is doing the action. Okay. Now an object relative adjective clause, that would be something more like if I say, she is the teacher. Let's see. Okay, if we say something like this, whom I saw. Okay. Now let's look at our subject here, she. Okay. Now my question again, is she doing the action or is she receiving the action? Okay. And again, our adjective clause here is whom I saw. So she, what do you think? Doing the action or receiving the action? And yes, good job. She is receiving the action. Okay. Okay. Now the question is, where is the agent? The agent is actually I. Okay, so I is actually doing the action. She, your subject, is receiving the action. Okay, so that's why we call this an object relative clause. Okay. Now the question is, this is a very common question when people learn. Students always want to know, what is the difference between, you noticed up here I used the word whom. What is the difference between who and whom? Okay. Now, obviously, from what we can see from above, whom is only used for object relative sentences. So basically, receiving the action. Okay. So if the main part of your sentence is receiving the action, then you can use whom, and it's a person. Okay. But now, another question though, is it okay to use whom? I'm sorry, is it okay to use who? So can I say, for this example here, she is the teacher whom I saw. Can I say, she is the teacher who I saw? Can I say that? And the answer is, it is okay to use who. Okay. Okay, so it is okay to use who. Okay, so for this case, we can use either whom, we can use who. Okay, now I have another question. What if I used, nothing? If I say, she is the teacher I saw, can I say that? Yes, good job. So the answer is yes. You can say whom, you can say who, and you can say basically nothing. Okay. So if it is an object relative clause, you have some options. You can either say, and if it's a person, you can say whom, you can say who, and you can have nothing. Okay. In fact, having nothing, she is the teacher who I saw, is most common in speaking. Okay. So, okay, what is the difference between who and whom? Whom is used for object relative sentences. It's generally okay to use who. Okay. Now there's one exception when you cannot use who, and that is our last point here, which is when it is the object of a preposition. So if I say, she is the teacher about whom I told you. Okay. Now, if your main part of the sentence is receiving the action, okay, and you have a preposition, then you must use whom. Okay, so that's the one exception. Okay, and I think we're going to stop there. But for the next video, I'm going to go into some rules of formality with the object of the preposition. Okay, thank you very much, and please check out more videos on English Umbrella. Thank you.